I'm 90 years old today. It's a number that doesn't feel like it belongs to me, yet here it is, etched into the skin of my hands and the way my bones protest when I try to stand. People tell you that reaching 90 is a victory. They say it's a blessing, a milestone to be celebrated with a cake and a few polite cards. But they don't tell you about the inventory you start taking when the house gets this quiet. When you get to this age, you stop looking forward and you start looking at the balance sheet of your soul. And the math, quite frankly, is unkind. I've spent the last few weeks sitting in this same chair, looking around this room, realizing that the things I gained in this life, the things I worked for, the things I protected, are far fewer than what I've lost. The scale is tipped so far in one direction that it's almost hard to swallow. I remember being 35 like it was yesterday. That was the year I was promoted to a senior role at the firm, and I remember the distinct smell of that new leather briefcase and the way I felt walking through the front door, telling my wife, Elena, that we could finally afford the bigger house in the better district. I thought I was winning. I felt like a provider, a builder of futures. At the time, it seemed like the only logical way to live. I wasn't being greedy, I was being responsible. If there was a Saturday meeting, I went. If there was a trip to close a deal, I took it. I told myself I was doing it for the family, but I'd come home late when the kids were already asleep, sitting in the kitchen eating a plate of cold dinner alone. I'd look at the blueprints for our new life and feel a sense of accomplishment, never realizing that I was gaining ground while losing the very people I was building it for. What I didn't see back then was the quiet erosion. You don't notice when a relationship starts to thin out. It's not like a glass breaking, it's more like a sweater unraveling, one tiny thread at a time, so slowly that you still think the garment is whole until one day you put it on and it falls apart in your hands. I lost the sound of my children's voices in the hallway, and though I was there physically sometimes, my mind was always 3 days ahead, worrying about a deadline or a budget. I lost the ability to just sit and listen to Elena talk about her day without looking at my watch. I thought those moments were permanent, that they would wait for me. I assumed that once I had gained enough security, I could go back and reclaim the time I'd traded away. But life isn't a bank account where you can deposit effort and withdraw time later. Time is a currency you can only spend once, and there are no refunds. By the time I hit 60, I had the house and the cars, but the house was unnervingly empty. My children were grown, and when they came to visit, we were polite strangers. We talked about the weather or my health because I hadn't been there for the middle chapters of their lives. I had lost the language of being a father. because I had spent 40 years speaking the language of a manager. Then came the day Elena left. It wasn't a grand tragedy. She just went to the store and didn't come back. A stroke. Quick, they said. She didn't suffer, they said, but I did. I sat in that big house we had worked so hard to gain, and I realized I didn't know how to live in it without her. I found a notebook she kept where she had written down little things she wanted to tell me about the birds in the oak tree, or how much she missed our Sunday drives. That's when the clarity arrived, and it was devastatingly, perfectly too late. I spent my life gaining things that can be replaced. A house can be bought, money can be earned, but you cannot buy back the sound of a person's laughter or the years you spent being busy while your life happened without you. Now, at 90, the losses are my primary companions. I've lost my wife, my siblings, the strength in my legs, and even the clarity of my memories. Sometimes I wake up and for a split second, I think I'm 40 again, needing to get ready for a meeting. Then the reality of the silence settles in. My son calls once a week. He's a good man, but he's very busy now, talking about his own contracts and renovations. I want to scream through the phone and tell him that none of it matters, but I just say I'm proud of him because I know he wouldn't understand. I didn't understand either. I look at my hands and realize I've gained 90 years of experience, but I'd trade every bit of it for one afternoon in 1974. I wouldn't do anything special. I'd just stay home, sit on the floor with the kids, and actually listen to Elena without looking at the clock. But that afternoon is gone, buried under 50 years of progress. If you're listening to this and you're still in the middle of your climb, I want you to look at what you're gaining today. Is it something that will keep you warm when the house is silent? Or are you trading something irreplaceable for something that won't even matter in a decade? We all think we have more time, but the world moves on faster than you can imagine. I'm not a miserable man, but I carry the weight of things I let slip through my fingers because I was too busy trying to grab something else. I'm running out of time now, and I don't have much left to gain. All I have is the truth of what I've lived, and the truth is that at the end of it all, you don't remember the promotions or the bank balance. You remember the faces and the hands you held. I hope you're there for yours while you still can be. Because once it's gone, no amount of success can buy it back. I think I'll try to take a nap now. The sun is hitting the chair just right. It's a small thing, but these days, the small things are all I have left. And maybe, if I'm honest, they're all I ever really had.